Hey, what's up guys? Melvin here with another arc review. Today I'll be looking at Legend of Korra Season 2, Book 2, whatever, Spirits, and I'll just be talking about that and talking about the finale a little bit. And I wanted to say a few things about Avatar: The Last Airbender and Season 1 of Korra before I actually get into that. One of my main problems with The Legend of Korra is its pacing. It's all over the place. With the original series, it felt like it went together seamlessly. It also took longer for the seasons to come out. This season came out quickly, I would say, compared to like Avatar, and it feels like they wrote it quickly too. The stuff with Amon was really good and could have easily been expanded on, or he could have lasted for a few books. Villains shouldn't be arc exclusive like this unless it's a long season with lots of development. It's not like I'm comparing Avatar to anime. I kind of am, but I guess my point is that the writing is still bad. This is kind of where their problems occurred. In the original series, we had a goal: master all the elements and defeat the Fire Lord, or Fire Nation, same thing. Telling separate stories really hurts them because they could expand on more things, and it leaves each season feeling incomplete. I'm sorry to say this, but it's sad that they didn't know Nick was giving them another season, or that they would get another season. They really hurt themselves there. And I've said this in like all my Legend of Korra videos. They made Avatar. They should know that they would have gotten another season or something. Each season of the original Avatar has had a great ending to the season. There will be spoilers if you haven't seen the original Avatar, so leave now in 3, 2, 1. Okay, in Season 1, Aang turned into a giant fish and he was defeating some Fire Nation guys. I forgot exactly what happened, but a princess dies and becomes the moon, and then a fish dies too. And I think like the princess and the fish were linked. And then Season 2 ends with Aang being shot down and thought to be dead. That was probably my favorite ending from this series. And then Season 3 ends with him fighting the Fire Lord and returning peace to the land. But with Korra Season 1, she finally learns how to airbend, and suddenly that power just destroys Amon. And then he runs away, and his brother blows him up. And I feel like Amon was a great villain, and I think his waterbending skills are better than Korra. And he would have been a great villain to have kept around for a long time. Really, I know they said that Amon and what's his name, Tarlok. They said that they're dead, but I mean, he could like change the story. I don't know. He made like a water shield or something and survived. I don't know if they wanted to bring the villain back, because the villain's pretty cool. And then Season 2 ends with her fighting as a giant avatar, which makes no sense, but I'll get into that later. And one of my main problems with Korra, or another problem with Korra, is that they're getting too anime-like with the expressions and the fights. They have this universe and they have their own rules, but then they start to feel like they're all over the place and not really following their own rules. This season went by too quickly. You guys want to know why? Because most of the season was packaged as 2 episodes: the premiere, beginnings, the week before the finale, and the finale. If you're going to do this, produce more episodes, ask Nickelodeon, explain more things. I don't know. Just make me feel like you did a good job and don't need to be criticized that much. Overall, the original Avatar is a great series, but with Korra, parts of it are good and others are bad. But here's a long description of Season 2 as a whole. It's 6 months later. Korra has mastered airbending. Mako's a police officer. Bolin's still doing pro bending, which I hate. That's another problem with Season 1. What the heck was this crap? If you wanted to make a sport, you could have added more action. It just was so lame. And they wasted half of a season on this. I did not like it. And then Asami is holding on to her company after all that stuff with her father. You know, what was he doing? He was working with Amon. He was like supplying Amon with all that stuff too. And then the gang goes to visit the Southern Water Tribe. There's a festival, spirits attack. Korra's uncle Unalaq can spirit bend, I guess you could say. He takes care of the spirit by bending it, so I don't know. Korra respects him. She starts to follow him. and he didn't seem evil at all. I guess not. I'm just saying, right off the bat, this guy seems evil. Should have been like a huge sign just right there above him, just saying evil. I guess they didn't notice this or something. Because it's kind of sad if we notice who the villain is right away. It's better if there's a build up. You shouldn't tell us who the villain is right away. And Tenzin and his family are going to airbending temples and learning stuff. But the main part of that is that Jinora sees a statue and then she has this dramatic turn. See, people? This is where it started. If you've seen the finale, this is where it started. And then the southern tribe begins to attack the north. Varric, who's like this rich guy who's like supposed to be like comedic relief. He's kind of funny sometimes, not really that funny. I don't know. It's kind of better when you're not trying to be funny. That's probably more when you're funny. And when you just push these jokes into people's faces, this is not usually funny. I'm just saying. But Varric starts a revolt. Korra's parents get arrested due to Unalaq. There's other stuff there. And then there's this whole past event where Korra's father was banished due to destroying a forest to get rid of some barbarians. But Unalaq was the cause of this because he hired the barbarians, or he told them, or something like that. And then Korra frees her father later with Varric's help. Places in Republic City are being bombed, and Mako is investigating that. This is actually a good plot line until I found out who was behind it. Seriously, this is kind of lame. Introducing some of these characters just for this specific arc, and I just don't like that. It makes it easy to predict. I'm just saying. I've watched some of the reviews and stuff, and people have predicted stuff like this. People even had the Dark Avatar theory back when back in book 1, but it was concerning Amon. But let's see what else. Wait, let me see. Okay, Korra's trying to get the help of the president. That doesn't work. They stated at the beginning of the season that the president was going to help her. Well, he wasn't going to help her right away. Someone stated that. And then Varric is making movies against the North starring Bolin. That was something... I didn't really enjoy it, but that's something I feel like would happen in real life, so they did do a good job there. And Korra's heading towards the Fire Nation to get help, but she gets attacked by her cousins, and then she gets swallowed by a spirit. Her life's great, right? And then Mako and Asami get help from the triple threats to investigate who's been stealing from Asami. And this is actually a good episode with a good plot. I liked it. I know a lot of people hate Mako, but I think Asami and Korra are also at fault for this whole relationship stuff. If you see your so-called boyfriend kissing another girl, shouldn't you tell the other girl? They were just so silent about this, so I don't know. And he's hooking up with each girl back and forth. I really don't care. I actually like it, but whatever. And then dun dun dun, Varric is actually evil, kinda. Based on this episode, he seems pretty evil, but he still helps them out in the end. So I don't really know on that one. I mean, it's Varric. You shouldn't really have a comedic villain. Because, it's oh, snap, Varric's evil. And then he kind of goes back to the whole comedy routine and makes it worse. Or it doesn't make the situation better at all. And then, meanwhile, Korra is washed up on a beach. She's lost her memory. That's another good plot line that they could have done more with. I really don't want to go over beginnings, but I'll try to do this one quickly. Korra meets the first Avatar, Wan. He learns how to bend from the turtles. And he meets the spirit named Rava. And Rava helps him by holding the other elements because he can't hold all the elements in his body. So Rava holds one, and then eventually Rava gets into his body, and that's the Avatar state where he can bend all the elements and all that stuff. And then Vatu, there's another spirit like Rava and Vatu. I think one can't exist without the other. So if you think one's dead, the other one's actually still alive. It's just not as big. And this is an amazing origin story, and personally it should get its own series. Make it happen, Mike and Brian. You guys got to make this happen. If you've read Magi, which is a manga and anime series, There's a character named Sinbad who got his own manga series. Seriously, guys, more money in your pocket. Just go for it. Um, there was also the Pokemon Origins special, which was good. That should get its own series. But due to some information and beginnings, the creators have kind of contradicted themselves and they haven't really explained this. So, from what I figured out from the video, people learned how to bend from the moon. They learned how to bend water from the moon, fire from the dragons, and earth from the badger moles, I think. And air was probably from the sky bison. I saw a video on this, so I just had to bring it up at least. But I think you guys should, I think they should, talk about that. Because you can't really contradict yourself. That's what I was talking about earlier, like breaking your own rules. You can't do that. If you're making a second series, you really should apply to the rules that you've set up in this world. And back to the story. Janora helps Korra get into the spirit world because her father sucks at being spiritual. They get into the spirit world. They get separated. Korra turns into a little kid. Janora disappears. And then Korra meets Iroh, who turned himself into a spirit instead of, going to heaven, I guess, is a way of putting it. I think what he said was, he turned to... Or what I can figure out from it is he turned into a spirit, on the verge of death or something. Which is cool. I'm kind of wondering if other characters did that. And the whole big thing that Barrick does is he tries to arrest the president, and then Bolin catches him, and it's supposed to be similar to the Noah Talk film, which is stupid. And then this is what I'm talking about, Barrick still helping them. He gives Korra his airship. Why? And then Janora's trapped in the spirit world. Korra's father and Unalaq fight, which was a great fight. I really liked that. But the series doesn't have as many fights. And I had this problem with book 1 too. I don't understand why they don't have as many fights. But okay, forget the season overview for a second. I can't talk. I'm sorry. I feel a little bit stuffed up. But they're reusing the whole sibling conflict thing, which was a big part of season 1. Heck, it was part of the original series. Stop reusing this stuff. I can probably write a better season of Korra with better characters. Also, some people like myself aren't reading the comics. The comics don't look exactly like the show, which is more like an anime art style. And comics just aren't my thing. I prefer manga and anime. So, just give us Aang's Lost Adventures or another season of Avatar. Fans would eat it up, and again, it would be more money in your pockets. Plus, show what Aang was like as an adult. Do a series with Wan and do one with Aang. I mean, this is simple stuff, and I'm surprised that they haven't figured this out or haven't thought about this at least. But back to the story, they're doing a full-on assault against the South Pole, but they don't have as many people. Basically, it's the main characters, the main characters, the main group, and they're using the war concept too often as well. And Avatar was cool and used well. They used it again in season 1 of Korra. That was okay. But a third time. Come on, guys. If you're not getting what I'm putting down, the writing is similar way too often. That's what I'm saying. I could write a better story about this. I had an idea about an Avatar movie. I never told anyone about it, but I had an idea about an Avatar movie, which I think would be cool. And it's just you have to get more influenced by anime. Anime, I know some people don't like anime, but anime, I would say, is a better influence for things like this. And I feel like they haven't watched enough. And, there's other stuff, but I'm kind of skipping details for the story. Mako and Bolin are tag teaming Unalaq, which was pretty awesome. And as I said before, I'm not going to go through everything, but Unalaq absorbs Vatu. He becomes the Dark Avatar. See? This is a good plot line. I like this. You should have done better stuff earlier. And I was kind of thinking the third timeline of Avatar could have a good and dark Avatar, an anti-hero or something. I don't know. Just make it happen. Get some different ideas flowing. We could have this guy just coming in, helping Korra, and then the next episode beating her up. I don't know. Well, the third Avatar, not Korra. And then Janora is lost in some kind of fog, which is actually a spirit. And then her father, her aunt, and her uncle go to find her. Kaya and Boomy are kind of okay. It's nice to have like more family characters around, but other than that, I really don't care. This is cool, but it shouldn't have been in the finale. It was kind of boring to watch. The finale should be more action packed. And then Janora leaves to help Korra. Like, she disappears or flies off, I think. And then they have to explain this. Like I said before, it's getting too anime-like. I love anime, but random things happen in anime. Random things shouldn't be happening in Legend of Korra. Legend of Korra is like a good cartoon, good writing and everything. Anime has random stuff happening. That's anime. And Janora and Korra are just like too anime-like in the finale for my taste, if you understand. But basically, Korra is defeated, and then Raba is destroyed for now. The two spirits coexist, as I said before. One can't exist without the other. So when watching the finale, I knew she was still alive. I think she got like destroyed in the first episode of the finale. And as I said before, Unlock and Batu become one. They turn into a giant. I thought it was cool until he got big. This final fight made me think of Attack on Titan. Oh, and the Avatar cycle is broken because Raba got destroyed. And then Batu's prison was a tree, which was actually in the original series. That's a nice touch right there. I'm hoping they had this idea back in the day. They didn't just like throw it in. But then Korra meditates in this tree and then turns into a giant too. It makes no sense. Why? And then Korra and Unalaq fight. It's cool. She kills him. And I'm not joking. She literally killed him. That's why I think there would be a dark Avatar cycle now. Unless he was in the Avatar state or something, then he might be dead. And then Korra's link with the Avatars is still gone, and she leaves the portals open. Now she's starting a new age. It's a meh ending. At least season 1 endings. I can't talk. At least season 1's ending was shocking. It would have been cool if they showed part of Batu, beating in Korra. I would have liked that if he was still alive or something. And then this is a minor complaint, but I love to bring it up because I've never brought it up. Aang and adult Aang don't look alike. It's like his head shape changed or something. That doesn't happen in real life. It just doesn't happen. If you guys see the statue in Republic City, that looks like an adult Aang. The Aang in Legend of Korra does not look like Aang. And then fans of this show are pleased way too easily. Honestly, I'd give this season a 7 or 6 out of 10. It starts to pick up after beginnings, which was actually the best part of this season. I would say best part of Legend of Korra in general. But everything before beginnings is kind of boring. And before you guys get angry or anything, I'm a big fan of Avatar and Legend of Korra. But it's like their writing has gone down in quality, or they just are using the same ideas. Nevertheless, it's still one of the best cartoons out there. Maybe it just needs to separate itself from the original even more. And I think animes do a good job when it feels like a sequel but can also stand on its own 2 feet. And book 3 is going to be called Change, and hopefully it's a good one. And if you have any questions, feel free to follow me